David, can you put off watching TV for a while and talk to me?
What do you want to talk about?
I'm seriously concerned. I've noticed that you're spending more and more time with your friends and less time with us. Emma and I need your attention and support.
I'm just tired after work, Jennifer. I need to relax and rest.
I understand that work can be hard, but I have a lot on my plate too. I'm trying to grow my business to provide for us. I need your support and help with household chores.
But I work at work. I'm tired when I get home.
I understand that you're tired, but I have my own responsibilities too. I'm trying to be a good mom to Emma as well as grow my business. We have to work together to meet all the challenges.
But I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help you with your business.
Maybe you could take over some of the household chores so I could spend more time on my store. We could divide the responsibility evenly.
Okay, I'll try, but don't expect me to do everything right away.
My name is Jennifer. I have a husband, David, but lately he's been completely ignoring me and our 5-year-old daughter, Emma. He spends more time with friends, and when he gets home, he delves into TV and beer. I have to handle all the household chores and take care of our child alone. I decided to start my own business, a small store where I sell baby stuff. My dream is to provide a better life for Emma and show her that women in America can be successful. But starting my own business was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I spent all my time and effort on the store trying to attract customers and offer them quality products. But I wasn't always successful. I had problems with finances, and I often felt like I didn't have enough resources or knowledge. But I didn't give up. My husband, David, was just lazy. He didn't want to work at work or around the house. He preferred spending time with friends and relaxing. I was disappointed in his attitude, but I couldn't allow myself to get discouraged. I tried to find a balance between work and taking care of Emma. I tried to be a present mom, even though I had very little time. I did my best to make her feel loved and cared for. Sometimes I had to combine work and caring for her, which was not easy. One day after work, I went to the daycare to pick up Emma. As I came out of the store, I noticed a man approaching me. He was about my age and looked very serious. I stopped and looked at him with some curiosity.
Excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute?
I nodded, a little dumbfounded, and agreed to listen to him. I wondered what he wanted to talk about.
My daughter, she died recently. She drowned in the river. I can't just forget her.
He showed me a picture of a beautiful little girl who really reminded me a lot of Emma. My heart squeezed with grief and compassion for this man. I am so sorry for your loss. It's such a terrible tragedy.
My mother happened to notice your daughter here in kindergarten. She said she looked a lot like my dead daughter. My mother asked me to find out where your girl was from, so maybe we could talk to her. I was struck by the incident and frightened at the same time. I didn't understand what this man wanted from me and why he was doing all this. I was very worried about Emma.
I'm sorry, but I don't really feel comfortable when strangers want to communicate with my daughter. I don't think it's best to do that.
I'm sorry if I'm scaring you, but please understand that I had personal reasons for this treatment.
My hands began to shake and my heart was racing. I didn't want to risk my child's safety, even if it seemed strange or ridiculous. There were too many times when strangers posed a danger to children, and I wasn't going to risk it. I sincerely apologize, but I can't allow you to communicate with my daughter. I am very concerned for her safety, and I hope you understand that I was angry at myself for refusing this man ruthlessly, but my primary concern was for Emma's safety. My parental instincts outweighed everything else. I am truly sorry for your loss, but I need to prioritize my child's safety. I hope you find support and comfort from other sources. The man nodded understandingly, wished me a good day, and left. Mixed feelings raged inside me. I was concerned about the situation and a little doubtful about my decision at the same time. Even so, I remained resolute in my concern for Emma's safety, never wanting to risk her well-being. When I returned home after this unusual daycare encounter, I walked tiredly through the door to find my husband lying on the couch without a single sign of occupation or interest in what was going on around him. "Are you lying on the couch again, all day, David? Do you even see the state of our house? I'm tired of your inaction and indifference to our family." David just shrugged his shoulders and stared at the ceiling, as if my words were not reaching his mind. "I'm working full-time, trying to get our business off the ground, taking care of our daughter, and you. All you do is drink and lie on the couch. I can't go on like this." He didn't even pay attention to me. My words just disappeared into thin air, like they were invisible. I felt invisible, insignificant in his eyes. My eyes filled with tears, but I didn't want him to see my weakness. I was exhausted by his indifference and inaction. It was hard for me to handle all the responsibilities on my own, and I needed his support and attention. He didn't say anything back. I knew that these words might not reach his heart and mind. But I wasn't going to give up. The next day, to my surprise, the man appeared in front of my house again. But this time, he was accompanied by his mother, who begged me to let them talk to Emma. The man tried to reassure his mother, but I remained adamant in my decision to protect my daughter.
"Please, you have to understand, we have had a great loss. My granddaughter looks so much like Emma that I can't just pass by. Let me at least see her, talk to her, even if only for a short time."
The man's mother's eyes were full of sadness and anxiety. I could feel her pain and understanding, but my fears and protective instincts kept me from agreeing to it. "I am truly sorry for your loss, but I cannot allow you or anyone else to communicate with my daughter. I can't risk her safety and emotional well-being. Please understand that." The man tried to explain to his mother that my words had merit, but she was persistent and tried to convince me. The man understood my categorical nature and eventually convinced his mother to back off. It's amazing how childlike naivete and openness can strike even in the most difficult situations. When Emma noticed the man and his mother, her curiosity took over, and she happily approached them.
"Hi, what are you looking for? Would you like to play in my sandbox?"
The man's mother was touched by her open heart and gentle invitation. The man smiled too, seeing that his mother and my daughter were beginning to connect.
"Hi, baby girl. We were just passing by and thought we'd say hello. How are you doing?"
"I'm doing great. I like to play in the sandbox and draw pictures."
Despite my doubts, I decided to trust my daughter's intuition. A man named Ethan, whom we met, offered Emma and I a ride home. I was frightened at the suggestion. Emma had asked to go with the man and his mother, and I sensed that she wasn't afraid of them. I was wary, but soon the weather turned bad and a downpour was coming, and I had to agree. One ordinary afternoon, as I was leaving the house, I was greeted by Ethan with a bouquet of fresh flowers in his hands. The smile on his face signaled an unexpected surprise. I gratefully accepted the flowers from Ethan, but embarrassment seized me at his invitation. He offered to spend time with him at a restaurant on Saturday night. I wasn't prepared for that turn of events, especially since I was married. Although I wasn't ready to agree to a date right away, I didn't want to push him away for good. I left him my phone number and he gave me a ride to work. When I got home, my thoughts were in complete chaos. As I watched my husband lying on the couch, absorbed in his worries, I couldn't help but think about Ethan's proposal. His caring eyes and attention to my needs left an imprint on me that I could not ignore. My heart was torn between what was and what I desired. I dreamed of a happy and caring family, a partner who supported me and shared in the joys and hardships of our lives. But my hopes and expectations crumbled before my eyes when I saw that my husband was indifferent to family obligations, tales of business and my aspirations. Tales of business and my daughter tormented me. I felt it was impossible to achieve a balance between my responsibilities and my own happiness. At this point, my thoughts returned to Ethan and his proposal. I accepted his offer, and I called to let him know that we could see each other Saturday night. But there were also doubts inside that Ethan was doing all this for his mom. That's what our meeting was about. I was looking forward to my date with Ethan. Our meeting was scheduled at a cozy restaurant. When I walked inside, I saw him already sitting at the table. His eyes greeted me with warmth and tenderness. I sat across from him, anxiously and expectantly listening to his story. I could feel his emotions as he talked about his ex-wife and his dead child. His face reflected sadness and underlying longing, but at the same time, a sense of strength and determination prevailed. He divorced after the loss of his daughter, so he and his wife could not survive the loss together. And he regretted not being able to prevent his daughter's death. I sat and listened to him grieve, and I couldn't help thinking that he was only with me because of my daughter. He asked me to let his mother help me with Emma from time to time. Maybe that way, she would get over the loss. I couldn't deal with my inner fears, but I let him have that opportunity. Soon, his mother started picking Emma up from daycare and taking her for walks while I stayed late at work. The bond between Ethan and I grew stronger with each passing day. He continued to show his care and attention, not only with words, but also with actions. Gifts became a constant element of our connection. Every time we met, Ethan remembered to delight us with pleasant surprises. He brought Emma toys, books, and sweets, which she adored. And he gave me flowers, jewelry, and things that reflected my interests and passions. These little acts of caring indicated that he was paying attention to our preferences and wanted to make our lives brighter and happier. An obsessive thought crept into my head, as if it wouldn't let me rest. I kept coming back to the question of why Ethan was so assiduously interested in Emma and me. Was his attention genuine, or was it just the appearance of a caring man hiding his true motives? Every time he gave us gifts or showed attention, doubts and questions rose in my mind. What if his interest was only because my daughter reminded me so much of his dead daughter? What if he only saw us as replacements for what he had lost? I tried to push those thoughts away, concentrating on the fact that Ethan looked and acted sincerely. He talked about his ex-wife and his dead child with such sadness and emotional openness that it seemed like he was really experiencing his loss. But my obsession still wouldn't let me go. I was constantly looking for a catch in him. Soon, I was having trouble renting space for my store, and I could not talk to the owner because I communicated through his supporter. Soon, it turned out that the owner was Ethan. What a coincidence! The person who was going to ruin my business was Ethan. He didn't want to give me the space to rent because of his future business considerations, and we had a big fight. After which, he just gave me the space for free. My anger became even more apparent. First, he doesn't want to help me. Then he gives me the damn space. I, of course, made the connection with Emma and decided that everything about me he was doing for his mom and Emma, and he doesn't care about me. When Ethan offered me a divorce from my unreasonable and indifferent husband, I felt confused and scared at the same time. It was a serious offer that could not be taken lightly. However, misgivings arose in my heart. I feared that our bond with Ethan was based on his compassion for my situation, on his desire to replace what he had lost. I didn't want him to see me as just an empty placeholder to fill a gap in his life. I was afraid that our relationship might be just compensation for both of us. I didn't want him to be with us just because of my daughter, because of the resemblance she bears to his dead child. I wanted true love and an authentic bond, not distorted by grief and loss. One day, Ethan's mother came to see me. Her arrival confused me somewhat and caused some anxiety inside me. She looked serious, and I knew she had something important to discuss. We sat down in the living room, and she began to talk. Her voice was filled with concern and anxiety, and it was clear to me that she strongly wanted to express her concerns about my relationship with Ethan. She talked about his state of mind, about how he was suffering because of my doubts and scandals. Ethan's mother told me about his loss, his divorce from his ex-wife after the tragic loss of her child. She described how he was struggling with the pain and trying to find meaning in life. Her words touched me, and I began to realize that I, too, needed to overcome my own doubts and allow Ethan to be there for us. Ethan's mother expressed her sincere concern and hope that we could overcome our difficulties and find happiness together. Her words and her presence reminded me of the importance of love and support in our lives. I decided to accept her concern and try to overcome my fears and doubts. In my heart, I knew I had to make a decision. Ethan was a man who did his best to support me and my daughter, and his mother also showed genuine concern. But I feared that the problems and disappointments would recur, and our family would be in a difficult position. I took time to think through all aspects of the situation. I turned to my feelings and tried to figure out what I truly wanted in my life. A mother's concern made me think about my daughter's future and the examples and experiences we would provide for her. In the end, I made a decision. I called Ethan and told him I was ready to give our relationship another chance. I agreed to take a risk and open my heart to him. I understood that neither of us could guarantee a future, but we were both willing to fight for our happiness. Soon, I was packing up my things and my daughter's things, and my husband didn't even notice. He doesn't notice anyone around him at all. I was worried about leaving for a new life, but I was determined that it was time for me to divorce my husband. He barely brings a penny into the house. He is not invested in my life and my daughter's life in any way. And I don't want that kind of parasite in the family. I went up to him and started a conversation. You know what, David? I'm leaving.
Where are you going?
I'm tired of your idleness and indifference. I bring money home. I take care of our house and our daughter, and you do nothing but lie on that couch. I said, anger mixed with resentment in my voice.
But you can't leave. You didn't expect this from me, he whispered, hearing his words filled with despair.
I deserve a better life, David. I won't waste my time and energy on you when you show no interest in our family. I'm leaving, and you'll be alone with that couch. I turned and walked away, leaving him with his indifference and inaction. I could no longer live in such a fruitless marriage, where my efforts and care were in vain. Now it was time to start a new life without him. In spite of all my fears, Ethan is still by my side, ready to support me whenever I need it. Emma is all grown up now and going to school. Ethan's mom is always helping Emma and me, making pancakes, tutoring her in her studies, and spending a lot of time with her. Before I had such a beautiful family in my life, Emma was bored all the time and missed my attention, and now she's doubly full of it. David is still drinking. He hasn't changed a bit. He's not involved in his daughter's life, and he doesn't really want to make a difference in his own either.